In this video, we're going to look at how you can run containers in Windows 10. I'm going to take you through the whole process. Let's get started.
So before we can proceed, please make sure that your Windows 10 is at least a professional and is running the build 1607. Your CPU must also support SLAT and virtualization, and your machine must have an internet connection and at least 4 GB of RAM available. Before we can start installing Docker Desktop, we need to install the Hyper-V. So right click on Start, click Windows PowerShell Admin, click Yes to the USC prompt. In the terminal, you're going to write enable Windows optional, as you could tab here. So optional feature, space dash online dash feature name, and here you're going to write Microsoft Hyper-V dash, and then dash all. So this is going to install the Hyper-V component, and it's going to do it in the Windows 10. So, and this will install all the sub features on the Hyper-V, such as the management tool. So click yes here. This may take a while, but it should not be that long. Let's just wait a little bit here. So now it's finished the installation. Now we need to restart the computer. So we'll do that right now. Then click on the Y, and then click enter. Now that we have installed the Hyper-V, we will need to do the same thing again, but just this time we're gonna go and install the containers feature. So here you're gonna write enable Windows optional feature online, then dash feature name. This is gonna be containers, then all. After you have done that, just click enter here. This also may take a few minutes to complete. Now you want to restart the computer again, so Y and then enter. So now that we have installed Hyper-V and the containers feature in Windows, we need to download the Docker Desktop. So open a browser and navigate to hub.docker.com. And then at the bottom of the site here, there's a link called Docker Desktop here. Click on that, and then click on download for Windows. So now it's downloading. So after it has downloaded, you can open the folder it's stored in. Then you can double click on the executable here. We're just going to close all this. So it may take a few minutes. Click yes to the USC prompt. Now it will download all the package files needed to install Docker Desktop. Uncheck the install required Windows components for WSL 2. We don't need that in this example. Click OK. We'll start unpackaging the files and install it to the system. So after it have installed, you need to log out. Click on the close and log out button here. So after you have logged in again, click on the use Hyper-V and click on not now. So down here you can actually see the Docker is starting. Now the Docker desktop is running. Now we're gonna switch to Windows container in Docker desktop. So go down in the tray area, right click on Docker and click on switch to Windows containers. Are you sure I want to switch? Yes, I am. And it may take a while here to switch to Windows containers. So now we are ready to deploy our first container. So right click on the start and click PowerShell. Then click yes to the USC prompt. In the PowerShell command, you type cmd and enter. This will change it to the command prompt. Now type docker container run detach publish, and the port is going to be accessible from, which port is going to listen to on inside the container. The name of the container, in this instance we're going to call it web, and what image we're going to use for it. So we're going to use the Microsoft IIS Nano server. Click enter. It's unable to find the image locally, so now it's going to go to the image repository and download the Microsoft image. This may take a few minutes because I think it's at least 600 megabytes. So yeah, be patient. So now the image is up and running. We can open a browser here. Then in the URL, type localhost 8080. So as you can see, we are running a IIS server on a Windows 10. So now we're gonna try to change this front page here to something in our own liking. So open File Explorer, go to this PC, go to the C drive, create a new folder, call it temp, go inside the folder, create a new file here, and call it index. And we need to change this file to HTML. So go up here in View and check mark File Name Extensions. So right click here and say Rename and change the TXT to a HTML. Click Yes here for changing the file name extension. Then right click here on the file and choose another app. Expand more apps here and click on the notepad and click OK. So here we're gonna say type HTML and body and say this is pretty cool and end the tag here and the body tag and end the HTML tag. I know this is not the most prettiest code, but it works. So save it here. So now we have a file we can replace the front page with. So open a command prompt, or this instance a PowerShell, and then now type cmd to enter the command prompt. Now, before we can change the content, we need to stop the actual container itself. So write docker container stop web. So this is gonna stop the container called web. So click here. So now it stopped the web container. So now we're gonna copy the file we just created here into the container. So write docker container container cp for copy. Now we're gonna go write the file we just created here. So index HTML, and then we're gonna say web. So this is the container name again, colon, and path inside the container. So here's gonna be inetpub, inetpub, and www root, and index HTML. So now we have copied this file into the container web in the path here. So now we're gonna start the container again. So just like the stop container, instead we're gonna just write start here. Now it's gonna start the container, hopefully. May take a few minutes. So there we go. And if we go down to the browser again and click on the refresh button, so there you go. We just now changed the front page to saying this is pretty cool instead of the standard IIS image. So that's it for actually running a container on Windows 10. So let's just clean up the containers just created. So right click on the start and click on PowerShell here. Click yes to the USC prompt. Now we're gonna stop the container. So docker container stop web. So again, this is the container name, and it's going to stop the container here. And then we're gonna say docker container remove, so rm here, and web. So this is gonna remove the actual container itself. So if we go to the browser again here and click and type the local host, now nothing is listening to this port, and it because the container is down. So yep, that's it.
Alright guys, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.